Hey everyone, Robert Silver here, and today I have another lens to show to you. It's a lens that I've been waiting for a long time. I love this focal length. I had to get it, and during the past 2 years, I've been really getting it into primes. Today will just be an unboxing and my first impressions basically. I will make another video on the image quality and the overall performance of from my experience of using the lens, but I'll bring that to you in about a month or so after I put it through its paces, whether it be with video as well as with photos. What I have with me today is the Sigma 35mm f1.4 DGDN lens. That means it's specifically made for mirrorless camera bodies. I have the L mount version. It does come in the E mount for all you Sony users out there, so don't worry. And so let's go ahead and open this up and I'll show you what the heck is in it. Okay, so as usual, it's packed pretty perfectly as Sigma does. It's nice. The box is always nice. Manual, we can put that aside, but what I do like about the manual is it lets me know the minimum focusing distance, so always double check so that you're not always frustrated because you're shooting too close to a subject when it's not made to do so. So yeah, double check. Of course, we have a nice soft lens pouch right here. Now inside its lens pouch, let's put the box over here. By the way, just to let you know, it has its filter thread is a 67mm, so make sure you have that. I just picked up an ND, a variable ND filter just for this lens in particular because I expect to do a lot of filming with this lens, but and anyway, we'll get to that in a second. Now, here is the lens itself. It's a gorgeous art lens, which I would expect. It's definitely compact compared to some of the DG-HSM lens, the hypersonic motor lenses that are built for DSLR by Sigma's art line. This is a nice compact. You can kind of see my hand here and in the proportion. I also do have right over here the Sigma 24mm, which I did an open box for. You can check that video. I believe I'll put the card above for that. This is a 24mm DG-HSM lens, so it's built for originally built for DSLR cameras, but I got one with the L mount, so it works perfectly with my S1H, etc. Anyway, so here are there two. So that's not bad at all. It's actually, let me see. Yeah, those are about the same height, quite honestly. This is nice, same height. The 24 has a 77, yeah, it has a 77 filter thread. Here, let me show the two lenses here. Here's a 35, here is the 24. So you can see the size difference with the filter thread. I'm telling you right now, get a polarizer, get an ND filter. It's good to have them. When you do need them, you're so glad you have it in your bag. And when you don't have them, it's a pain in the ass, especially for filming. If you're filming and you're filming on location in different areas, man, I'm telling you, get yourself a polarizer and a variable ND filter. It is worth its weight in gold. Okay, there were a lot of videos on this lens, but I'll just go through what I'm obviously experiencing right now. You can have you can assign an assign button right here. You have also your manual autofocus switch, which is well, it sure does let you know when you switched it. It's a big click. And then you have your click and non-declick when you want to switch to your aperture. It's super nice and smooth. Yeah, it's pretty quiet. Okay, me, I actually like the click. I like to know that it snaps right into f2 or 2.8 or whatever it is. That's me personally, because generally when I'm filming, I'm doing more of racking the focus, not necessarily the aperture. So I like to, if I'm about to film a scene, I'm gonna already be on the aperture I want and the amount of depth of field, and then I'm gonna rock and roll from there. So I like the click. It kind of gives me an assurance that like, boom, it's there, 1.8. That's the one I want. So, but it's up to you. There's a big fat switch right there to turn it on and off. The build quality is exactly what I expect. It looks beautiful, as all Sigma art lenses tend to, so I really like that. And my Sigma line is now growing. I have the 24 f1.4. I have the 35 now. I have the 85-1.4 DGDN lens. I have the 24-70 DGDN lens, and my next one will be the 50-1.4 guaranteed. I've been really getting into primes. I just love what I get out of them, and I like what primes force me to do. It forces me to move, forces me to think, and really think of my composition. And I notice I do better composition with my primes, and that's why I continue to buy more Sigma. But in particular, I bought this lens because I have honestly, since back when I was shooting crop censored, what was it, D7000 Nikon, I had a 35mm f1.8, and I like the photojournalistic style of that lens. And the nature of it, it never seemed too wide, and never seemed too how can I say, too zoomed in. A 50 is great, and let me tell you, for the past year and a half, it's the most used lens focal length I've used, which is a 50mm f1.4 Lumix, Panasonic Lumix lens, their S Pro lens. I love that lens, but if I just want to grab one prime lens and walk around and not be a portrait photographer for a day, I want a 35, and I've been drooling over a 35 for like the longest of time. So now that I'm obviously not shooting crop sensor, and I've been shooting with Panasonic Lumix cameras for 2 years now, I needed a 35. And then when I switched to the S5 as my key camera for portraits, and the S1H for my filming, I was like, man, I need to get this 35. And Sigma announced this particular lens, the DGDN art lens, which are, as I said earlier, specifically built for mirrorless cameras in mind. Secondly, all the technology, autofocus, and everything is specifically built for mirrorless cameras. The DG HSM lenses are great. Like I said, I own this one. I bought this one. I love it. This is a 24mm, but ultimately there's like it's built after the fact for the DG for the mirrorless cameras, and there's nothing wrong with it. I've never had a problem, never had an issue. But knowing that straight out of the gate, this was built day one with mirrorless cameras in mind, again for the Sony and L mount, or Sony E mount, and Panasonic Lumix Leica and Sigma L mount, that gives me just a little bit more reassurance that basically I'm buying this is absolutely native to my camera. That was one of the key reasons why I got this over the DG HSM 35mm f1.4 lens version, which Sigma has had, and it's a monster of a lens. It's fantastic, super sharp. But for a few dollars more, I got the one that's natively made for mirrorless camera. So that was just my opinion. As I said earlier, this is a focal length that I can just take one lens and just do street event photography, weddings, like during the reception. It just gives me that beautiful it gives me that beautiful photojournalistic feel to my framing, and it does great in portraits too. And if you follow me on Instagram, I do like to use wide lenses for portraits as well. I love the effects, especially at 24mm shooting shallow, and I love using the warpy distortion of the lens in wide angles to create unique portraits. So I will for sure be using this for portraits. But overall, I wanted one single prime that I could walk around with, enjoy myself with, and that's why I had to get my hands on a 35mm. And this is not heavy. Like, this is not heavy compared to my 50 f1.4. This thing it's super light. It really is. Forgot. I'm so sorry, guys. Here's a lens hood, And honestly, I know it's like it's so corny, but I really like the detail that they put into this lens hood. Obviously that it goes with it, but I just like how it looks. Like they actually, the art lens itself looks pretty clean and sexy, and then they top it off with the cherry on top with the hood looking just as nice. They didn't slouch and just give you a plastic hood. The button is nice and how can you say recessed, or anyway, it's smooth, and then it just works. It's flawless. And I've had some lens hoods that are really built just because they wanted to just quickly give you something. This feels like just as much quality as the rest of the lens, so I appreciate that. So this is what the lens looks like in its entirety. It is available at your local camera retailers here in the Bay Area. I would recommend going to Mike's Camera or mikescamera.com. Go to any of their stores. They got 5 of them in the Bay Area. But overall, you can check out at sigmaphoto.com, or I'm sure wherever other retail you feel like you want to go check this out. But personally, I would recommend checking out your local retailer, because you could touch and feel it and see how it works with your camera system. And again, if you're a Sony user, it will be native to your mount. They make that E-mount, so check it out. This is a fantastic, gorgeous looking lens, and I'm gonna be back to you with a full review about me using this lens, so stay tuned. Of course, if you enjoyed this video and you would like to see more, don't forget to press that like, share, subscribe, and of course hit that bell icon to get more notifications of upcoming videos. I'm Robert Silver, and until next time, keep shooting and stay creative.